Increasing the productive base of the Nigerian economy was the focus of the 13th Annual Bankers Committee retreat in Lagos last weekend. The committee resolved at the retreat that the Central Bank of Nigeria should continue to support import needs of Nigerians, while deposit money banks will continue to raise non-oil export revenue through increased repatriation of export proceeds. It was also agreed that commercial banks in the country will provide at least 500 billion naira loans annually to exporters to nurture domestic production and strengthen export. We have more on the retreat in today's episode, plus special reports on financial inclusion and agent banking in the country. All after this message. Stay tuned.
The Central Bank of Nigeria has announced the introduction of a new series of 200 naira, 500 naira and 1000 naira banknotes to be launched on December 15, 2022. These new banknotes will circulate side by side with the current 200 naira, 500 naira and 1000 naira banknotes, which will cease to be legal tender on January 31, 2023. Banks are now open from Monday to Saturday to accept customers' deposits. So, hurry to your banks to deposit only 200 naira, 500 naira and 1000 naira banknotes in your possession. To make it seamless, the CBN has suspended bank charges on all deposits made during this period, and there is no limit on how much an individual can deposit. Remember, the current 200 naira, 500 naira and 1000 naira banknotes remain legal tender until January 31, 2023. Do not reject it, but ensure the banknotes get to your bank before the deadline of January 31, 2023. The naira is our national pride. Let's embrace the new currency. This message is from the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN.
Welcome back. Subject matter experts in economic analysis, participants in the non-oil production and export value chain, export development authorities, and sustainability finance experts from within and outside the country joined the CBN governor, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, his deputies, and chief executives of banks in Nigeria for the 13th Annual Bankers Retreat at the Eco Hotel and Suites from Friday the 9th to Saturday 10th of December. Discussions during this year's retreat focused on how to further activate other non-oil sources of foreign exchange to fund the import needs of bank customers while growing the productive base of the economy and overall GDP. Here's the report.
Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, said that the Bankers Committee retreat has become an annual ritual for the creme de la creme and the leaders of the Nigerian banking sector to brainstorm extensively on ways to resolve some of the country's economic challenges and contribute to the sustainable advancement of the economy. This year's retreat themed Increasing the Productive Base of the Nigerian Economy and Non-Oil Export Revenues provided another opportunity for key players in the financial sector to review, reconsider, and recalibrate the strategies for Nigeria's economic prosperity in the face of incessant, mutating, and perilous world socioeconomic shocks. At the opening of this two-day retreat, the CBN governor, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, reminded participants that since the last one, expected recovery of the global economy from the COVID-19 shock has been wiped away and replaced by the new shocks from the Russian-Ukraine war and the unprecedented stalling of the Chinese economy, charging them to recognize the critical role of the financial system in accelerating the development of the productive base of the economy.
It is against the backdrop of adverse global realities and the current frailties of the Nigerian economy that I enjoin and challenge all of us at this retreat this morning, including facilitators, panelists, speakers, and participants, to deliberate purposefully and discern innovative and sustainable ways to boost the productive base of Nigeria's non-oil sector. We can no longer delay in resolving the structural issues inhibiting non-oil export receipts in Nigeria. We must strengthen the immunity and engender the resilience of our economy against exogenous shocks.
Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who as the host governor showed up to support the initiative of the CBN and the Bankers Committee, expressed confidence in the productive outcomes of the retreat to solve Nigeria's economic problem and impact the lives of the common man.
I think it's important that when conferences and retreats like this come together, that you look at where we can indeed tackle our own, local issues, but with a global view. You certainly cannot play out, as a standalone. You can only collaborate with what are the issues that are happening globally. So while we begin to, act local, we need to continue to think global, at engagements like this. And so I'm looking forward, and I'm hoping that with all of the bright minds that are in this room, it will not just be a talk shop, it will be an engagement in which at the end of the day, Nigerians out there will be better off for it, and that you will come up with solutions, will come up with programs, will come up with commitments that can affect an ordinary man on the street. It's only when you do that, that indeed you will have earned your pay, and you have indeed put in your own contribution to our country.
The retreat featured insightful presentations, robust panel discussions, comprehensive breakout sessions on relevant topical issues with leaders and industry players who shared their understanding for specific impactful programs. On day one, presentation by subject matter experts set the global and local macroeconomic context, including implications for Nigeria and analyze prevailing global development and conditions today, and how these are impacting the Nigerian economy as well as their future ramifications for the economy. On day two, participants discussed a fit-for-purpose response to sustainability that reflects Nigerian context and is responsive to economic and national development that creates better lives and opportunities for communities and the populace.
Has been made.
The Bankers Committee at the end of this retreat issued a communique on 5 key resolutions, including generating 500 billion annually in loans to exporters to nurture domestic production and grow export value.
The banks put together have committed that they will grant export loan facilities to the tune of at least 500 billion, which the central bank will graduate amongst the banks. The large banks will take a large share of it. The smaller banks will take smaller. But we're saying this is intended to further stimulate export financing and also encourage export of goods out of the country, so we can generate export proceeds in an exponential way, that will eventually be high, that the export process from the non-oil sources will be high to the point where after some time it relieves the CBN of the pressure that it currently goes through finding dollar to fund the import needs of both the banks and their customers. Realizing the tremendous progress that has been made, because you all recall that in the course of the year before we started the RT200, the central bank had indeed actually used the word threaten the banks that they must begin to source their own FX to meet the needs of their customers and not entirely rely on the central bank sources. But seeing the progress that has been made so far, up to almost, we're talking about 62 plus 622 plus 850, we're running close to almost $2 billion so far. We think that that is a good progress, and on the basis of the progress that has been made so far, the CBN will continue to support the market with foreign exchange, albeit as hard as it may be, but we'll continue to support the market while the banks themselves continue to ramp up their own sources of non-oil export, but so they can earn FX through repatriation, which they can use to fund the needs of their customers. So CBN will continue. So that's one good news, I'm sure, for those who are importing. A couple of you have been asking me, are you stopping? Are you stopping? So I'm sure this is the information that you would like to hear. On infrastructure, the retreat resolved to walk through Infraco to fund the road projects from Lekki to Ondo to facilitate transportation of goods from the Lekki port to other parts of the country. The retreat also committed to continue to support the creative industry, especially as we accelerate the completion of the ongoing Bankers Committee project in National Arts Theatre. And what we're trying to do in the Bankers Committee here is to build 4 vertical hubs. IT for software development, fashion, right? Fashion, movies, and music. These will build like ecosystem around it so that economic activity will be happening around the National Art Theatre that will dovetail into major events and activities that will hold in the main bowl as well of National Art Theatre. I must confess that when we started this is a project that we had contemplated that both the phase 1 and phase 2, that $100 million will complete. But unfortunately, when we took on, we dimensioned the scope of the project yesterday, we found out that it's going to run close to almost $200 million. And the Bankers Committee, like you may know, this is being funded from our AXMIS fund, that is Agricultural Small Scale Equity Investment Scheme, where the banks on an annual basis contribute about 5% after tax of their profits towards funding small businesses. And the Bankers Committee resolved yesterday that we will take the remaining part from that fund to complete this project, because we believe that this is a viable project, developing that ecosystem around the National Arts Theatre.
Over the next few days, Bankers Committee will finalize the strategy, governance framework, action plan, and assign responsibility for implementation of its program for 2023 in order to achieve desired outcomes.
The Central Bank of Nigeria has announced the introduction of a new series of 200 naira, 500 naira, and 1000 naira banknotes to be launched on December 15, 2022. These new banknotes will circulate side by side with the current 200 naira, 500 naira, and 1000 naira banknotes, which will cease to be legal tender on January 31, 2023. Banks are now open from Monday to Saturday to accept customers' deposits. So, hurry to your banks to deposit only 200 naira, 500 naira, and 1000 naira banknotes in your possession. To make it seamless, the CBN has suspended bank charges on all deposits made during this period, and there is no limit on how much an individual can deposit. Remember, the current 200 naira, 500 naira, and 1000 naira banknotes remain legal tender until January 31, 2023. Do not reject it, but ensure the banknotes get to your bank before the deadline of January 31, 2023. The Naira is our national pride. Let's embrace the new currency. This message is from the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN.
Micropension is another financial product helping to reach the excluded.
It has really impacted this journey positively, largely through the number of accounts that have been, opened so far, and the confidence that we have been able to build in the informal economy in the country, and gives them some sense of belonging in the financial services, particularly in building a sustainable old age income.
Financial inclusion is also enhanced when customers have confidence in the financial system. The Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation is tasked with protecting consumer deposits.
Looking at our activities within the space of promoting financial literacy within the financial system, which is a key barrier to financial inclusion, and also the issue of engendering trust of those financial products and services, NDIC has played a critical role in the success story that we have recorded so far in our journey on financial inclusion in Nigeria.
We think that we need to bring more people into the system, and also to ensure that we have financial ID infrastructure. So right now we have the BVN, which has been very successful. We have the NIN, National Identification Number, which has also been successful. And we're trying to look at how we can get more opportunities to include people in the financial system using those platforms.
Financial inclusion is also about enabling ordinary Nigerians to have access to investment products and services regardless of the value and volume.
We are targeting them young, getting people from lower levels of education and having their curriculum, their learning curriculum infused with capital market studies. Okay, we have sensitization workshops, we have investor clinics, and actually we have now revised our capital market master plan.
Accelerating financial inclusion requires a vibrant digital financial services and telecoms infrastructure.
I remember in the 2000s when all we had was about 400,000 connected lines. Then you will be talking about financial inclusion. Today we have over 212 million connected lines. That has created possibility for even the people in the villages. They have the basic voice connectivity that they require for them to access their finance.
Another new innovation in the digital domain is the e-Naira, which promises to accelerate financial inclusion.
We're very, very proud to be the first central bank in Africa to launch a retail CBDC. And I think only the fourth in the world to launch a CBDC. It will help us bring more people into the financial system. It will help us offer cheaper services. And it will also help build trust, because trust is a key element when you look at blockchain-based instruments.
The next phase of financial inclusion implementation is set for between the year 2021 and 2024, with a set target of 95% Nigerians to have access to financial services by 2024. Collaborative effort is required to achieve this.
I'm confident about the future. I believe the target is going to be achieved and also exceeded. I believe that the team has crafted so many products that will help them achieve that target. They're working with various players in the ecosystem. Yes, we've learned a lot of lessons in the last 10 years, but you know, those lessons have defined the approach and the plan for the future.
We're confident and we look forward to a future where we leverage all of what has been achieved, the technology, the policy, innovation, the collaboration with the private sector, you know, the data, to ensuring that 95% of Nigerians have access not just to financial services, but to a vibrant economy in which they can live independent, productive lives.
A lot of work still needs to be done, but I think with collaboration with various agencies, with the banks or with the mobile telecom companies or with the aid or with the support of agents, we should be able to achieve this goal. And I believe that if we can achieve 95% financial inclusion by the end of 2024, we would have done a great job.
Financial inclusion remains a collaborative effort between financial inclusion regulators, enablers, providers, and development partners. It is a feat that can be achieved if all stakeholders work together to put the newly released policy documents to good use.
Thanks for staying tuned. You're watching From the CBN, a weekly program that brings to you reports and expert analysis of the actions, policies, events, and economic initiatives of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. The CBN cashless policy started in 2012, and a lot has been done since then to deepen payment infrastructure in the country. Addressing concerns about access to basic banking services by rural dwellers, particularly with the recent Naira redesign, Central Bank Governor Mr. Godwin Emefiele said there are more than 1 million super agents across the country to cater to their needs. This next report is on agent networks in Nigeria reaching the most excluded population.
Before now, customers used to come to my shop and make purchases, but because there was no POS available for them to use, I end up losing those customers. So I had to make inquiries on how to get a POS for my agent banking business. So since then, I applied for Accelerate POS for the agent banking. And after I got the POS, customers have been coming to my shop. I am able to attend to them effectively. There are no issues. I am happy, and then my business is also making progress.
Before I enter into agents banking, I was doing engine oil and electronics. Before I now move into the agent banking, 2017, I thought that people will come and withdraw money and money will disappear. Bank will not pay them back. So it makes me, I will just be afraid. How can I put money and I will not see it? But it's not what it is, as I thought.
Agent networks in Nigeria are central to the efforts aimed at expanding and deepening financial inclusion. In 2019, the Shared Agent Network Expansion Facilities, SANEF, an initiative of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, and the Bankers Committee, was established to build out agent networks with a target of 500,000 agents by 2020.
Prior to 2019, when we were set up, the banks came together and they decided to have a shared agent network. They realized that they didn't have enough branches, especially in the rural areas, to reach out to the financially excluded. So they were operating on this on a ad hoc basis, and then they decided that, we needed a company to focus on this. Hence the establishment of SANEF in January 2019.
Through the shared agent network, the SANEF, what we did was to say we will try and have what we call agents banking. What does that mean? That notwithstanding the fact that you don't have a bank, a brick and mortar location in a place, but that there should be people who will be identified as agents. With the aid of POS, maybe there are petty traders in various villages that can open or transact banking business without necessarily operating within the four walls of a bank.
I must say that under the SANEF initiative, we've had the most progress in expanding financial access points in the areas that previously, either due to some of the conflict in those areas or for other reasons, did not have enough financial access points. We offer capacity building, we offer access to finance, reliable credit that they need. We offer access to markets, because everywhere you have an ecosystem, you can sell into that ecosystem. We support providers that create platforms for these agents to learn and to sell.
And one of the platforms we have for financial literacy is the Sabi Money platform, which we implemented for financial literacy. People could go there and learn and be educated. We train the trainers from that platform, and then they are able to go to those locations and those priority areas to deploy this, training to other people. We also have what we call scaling the capacity of farmers. From the development finance department here, we do what we call, MSME, micro, small and medium enterprises funds that we use, and all of these intervention programs also help us to onboard people.
So the NFI strategy by CBN did require that we have 476 agents per 100,000 adult population in all the states. So today I'm happy to say that we have much more than that in 35 states. Only one state is still not there yet. But to have 35 states out of 36, and it's much more than the 476, we have, even the lowest is over 1,000 agents per 100,000 adult population.
Every day, I make between 2,000 to 4,000 naira. So if you look at that in a month, I'm able to make close to 30,000 naira as profit. I am able to buy more goods, so I'm able to also expand my business, buy more products, and also make more profits.
I make profit daily, monthly. It helped me to the extent that I open another location, which I employ people and I pay them monthly. It helped me in my family, it helped me on my personal needs that I can afford without even bothering anybody, no matter how little it is, because I have income coming in every day.
the future is very, very bright. We're very confident that we would meet our target of 95%, and in the process create lots more opportunities for Nigerians, not just to be included financially, but to build and to live productive, independent lives.
That's all we have from the CBN this week. Thank you for watching. Report unresolved banking issues to the CBN Consumer Protection Department using the email cpd@cbn.gov.ng. Attach relevant documents. Call the CBN Contact Center on the phone line +234 700 2255 226. Local call rates may apply. Write to us through the email address fromthecbn@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter for updates and to watch uploaded episodes of the program. We invite you to join us again next time. I'm Uliyemi Sidada. Stay safe and bye for now.